Hi there, my name's Garrett. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm excited to have you here today. Before we get any further, remember to like, subscribe, and ding the bell for any notifications. So, where are we now with some games? I'm back, hopefully on a regular cadence. I'm probably not going to do every day, maybe once, twice a week. We'll see how it goes. At the moment, it's going to be... I do have some fun things to talk about. I may or may not have talked about in terms of just extra meals I'm cooking on the stove of game design. One of them is a fan format for the game Magic the Gathering. It is a RPG format. So if you like games like Dungeons and Dragons, and you also like games like Magic the Gathering, well, this is a game to play games like Dungeons and Dragons using cards from games like Magic the Gathering. It's a very silly, almost Fantasy Flight, like Arkham Horror deck building style game where you have a game master who gets to create decks of challenges. They're usually 20 to 40 cards in each challenge. And then every player gets to have at the moment, legendary creature, but we'll see as time goes on. That you build a deck around, and then that deck starts very small, and through the course of play, like 20 cards, including lands, and through the course of play will grow up to like a 60 card deck or something like that. And you get to go through both like narrative encounters where you're using the cards from your hand, you're playing them as like prompts, like for example, if I think we should go to the Dismal Backwater, and so you play the Dismal Backwater card, or I think that I found the MacGuffin and we finally have it, and we're here at the point of Tiamat and no return, and I'm going to play Karn Silex to use to do this ritual, right? Like you've got this in your hand. And there's also the CMC on the cards, so that converted mana cost or converted mana value, depending on where you are in rules terminology. You can use that as almost like as if you were rolling a die in a standard RPG. And so if there's a challenge that needs a number, well, you can play, and that's your roll. And so cards with like X in the casting cost become very useful cards, and cards that have a fixed cost become like, what you're getting cards. And so you have to kind of lean in between and figure out with the game master, what is the DC here? What am I actually trying to meet or beat? So that's narrative. And then combat is right before combat. Any lands that are already in play from the narrative gets cleaned away, and you and the rest of the party are going to have a shared life pool versus the game master who has their own life pool. And you get to play like a regular game of Magic, but it feels very different since most decks don't have any creatures in them, and instead you're trying to rely on keeping your creature, you alive with abilities and spells and enchantments and auras and equipment. And as time goes on, as your deck builds, you might be getting friends that join you along the way. So character cards, creature cards, like planeswalkers or things like that the game master doles out after successful encounters. I'm excited to see where this goes. I've already got people sending me really funny decks. I really want to see the jellyfish deck. So if anyone takes the, I think it's called the reality chip or something like that from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, but it's a legendary jellyfish artifact creature. It's a creature. You can make a deck. Go for it. And I'd love to see what those kinds of really funny decks are like with legendary creatures. So hey, if you like Magic the Gathering and you like role-playing games, let me know. I'll have the horribly basic rules in it's just the template, right? Down in the doobly-doo. And I'm excited to see where this goes. So our main games that we've been talking about, Walrus, Shrimp, a little bit about Woodland Racers. Showed a friend Woodland Racers, just the core loop. That's fun. And then, I'm making a TCG. I'll put the core rules for that as well in the doobly-doo. It's called Pity, Pets in the Yard. Don't you pity the fact that I'm deciding to make another game. This is a terrible decision, and I will never regret it, of course. The base game is totally free. Go ahead and try it. You can proxy it with, things like magic cards or any other colored slips of paper. For the people who don't know what a TCG is, or a trading card game, you get to build a 40-card deck. So 40 card, 40. No, 40. There we go. Yeah, 4. There we go. 40. So 40 card deck. And in that 40 card deck, you get to have up to 3 different colors of pets. And every card right now is a pet. It's a critter, right? You can call it a pet or a critter, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call them pets for now. And every pet, depending on the color, there's 2 things that matter on a pet. Its color and its cost. So a pet of a specific color, you can have up to 3 of that color in your yard, aka in play. And the goal of the game is to have six pets in play. And if you do, you win. So you're going to win on your turn, right? It's very simple. But the core loop, currently, the way it works is it actually disadvantages the first player, because if you play this game optimally, the first player is going to come up on the problem of, I don't have any cards to draw out of my deck, and therefore lose the game, before the second player or any other player in the multiplayer format. So Pity has its own way of countering first player advantage, which is a very common, very difficult thing to counter in card games, because when someone goes first, they often have a gigantic lead, and then you have to find how to pare that back. In Pity, they have a gigantic deficit, so I'm gonna have to find a way to like work with that in a fun way. But so you have your deck of cards, and you draw cards, and then you play cards from your hand. And there's an energy system that works very similar to games like Hearthstone, where at the beginning of the round, top of the round, the energy ticks up by 1. And you get to play pets of a cost up to that energy. So if the energy on round 3 is 3, you can play a 1-cost pet and a 2-cost pet, or 3 1-cost pets, and you're working your way towards 6 in your yard, right? But only 3 of the same color at a time. And you can have up to 3 colors in your deck. So you've got options. It's possible. You can do it. And then there's some pets that are going to cost like way more than 6. By the way, your energy caps at 6. So how do you play these cards that cost way more than the energy cap? Normally, traditionally, you can't do more than 6. Well, you get to play it on top of a pet of a similar color that you already have in your yard. And that cost of that pet is going to be the difference between whatever the energy is and whatever the total cost of your bigger pet is, your chungus, if you wish. These are going to be like, I guess you could call them like evolutions in Pokemon or Digimon or something like that. But like they grow, or like they get to grow. I think it's a grow. It's fun. But when you have pets in your yard, your friends have pets in their yard, and you don't want them to have six pets before you, right? So how do you deal with your friends winning before you? Well, you send your pets to go play with their pets. And then both of your pets get exhausted. And then eventually a pet takes on so much exhaustion, it just needs to go take a nap in the discard pile. And so it's all about your pets playing. And what is traditionally in many trading card games about like fighting and slaying and beating and killing, which obviously I make all these games that have that. It's not a problem. But in this case, they play with each other because I want it to be cozy. I want it to be fun. I want it to have a good time. And like, just a very different experience, right? So maybe it's like you have a magical kitten, and when you play, you get to draw a card, and then it goes and plays with your friend's dog that's on fire. And so your magical kitten takes some exhaustion from that. And the big interesting part in the exhaustion mechanic is it's actually counters. So in games that have like damage dealing in trading card games, traditionally it's at base level, it's your card has an attack and your card has a defense. And you compare your opponent's card's attack to your defense and your attack to your opponent's card's defense. And then you figure out the difference in those areas and you both take damage based on the difference, right? And in some games that damage lingers, and in other games that damage doesn't. But in Pity, instead what you do is you get a number of exhaustion counters equal to the cost of the card, minus any exhaustion counters already on that card. So if I have a 3-cost card over here and a 3-cost card over here, or 4-cost, let's make it easier, 4-cost card over here, and they play with each other, this 3-cost, boop, 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 bonk, is going to play with our 4-cost, yippee, 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 and 3 and 4, so this deals 3 exhaustion counters, and this takes 3 exhaustion counters, and this deals 4 exhaustion counters, and this takes 4 exhaustion counters. And then they go back to their yards. And then we compare. Does any critter have more exhaustion counters or equal to exhaustion counters than its cost? This one does. So it's going to go sleep. It's going to go on the discard. It's going to take a nap. Okay, it's gone. But this 4-cost has taken 1, 2, 3, right? Points of exhaustion. Now there's just 1. It only deals 1 the next time it plays. It's still a 4-cost critter, but it only deals 1 the next time it plays. So if a 2-cost critter comes along and plays with this 4-cost critter, whoop, they play. This one takes 2, it goes takes a nap. This one takes one. Yeah, it's pretty simple. So that exhaustion counter thing is really the most complicated part of the game at the moment. But it actually, like, once you see it in practice, everybody I've shown, they get it within 5 minutes. They're playing, they're having a great time, and after a 15-minute match, they go, I want to play again, which makes me so happy to see. So go ahead and give Pity a try, or at least read the rules, and let me know what you think in the comments below. So today we've talked about the Magic the Gathering fan format RPG, and we've talked about a TCG that I'm deciding to work on called Pets in the Yard, Pity. That's the new stuff for now, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!